Yeah, and that's why I'm leaving it. It's basically a cult. Did you not? This recording. Let's talk about the state of minimalism in 2022. Over the past few years, minimalism got pretty big. When stuff hits mainstream TV, mainstream media, you know it's destined for a fall. Marie Kondo, 2 seasons of tidying up or whatever it's called. And after that, I think you see a drop-off in people caring about minimalism. And that's good and that's bad. There's still like a residual, a leftover of that in new minimalism channels like starting up. And I'm not a minimalism channel. I talk about it from time to time because it's a tool in my toolkit. It's something I've used to pretty good success, actually. I found minimalism a few years ago and it resonated with me so hard because it struck this thing that I'd been trying to figure out. I'd been trying to figure out why I was so messy. I've been trying to figure out why I lost stuff all the time. That wasn't solved by minimalism. That was helped by it. And what I mean by that is it didn't fix that. It didn't fix that part of me. But what it's done is it's made it manageable. I don't have 1,000 things to sort through every time I lose something now. If it's not in box A or B, it's probably lost. And so that's really helped me. And that's an ongoing thing. Keeping stuff pared down, making sure that I don't have excess of anything that I don't need. Making sure that I've not got what if items. I used to have a lot of what if items. I used to buy a lot of gadgets. I really liked buying gadgets. Stuff that I'd never use. I'm still guilty of it now. There's a gadget over there that I wish I hadn't bought. But that's one. It used to be a lot more than one. But then there's this feeling that, I'm not a minimalist because minimalism, because it got popular, it got gamified. And when things get gamified, people will race to find a way to win. They'll pick a metric and that's what they'll try and obtain. That for minimalism was basically how few things do I own. And that's kind of why I wanted to make this video, because I'm going to count everything I own. No, I'm not. I was watching Matt D'Avella's video the other day and he counted all the things that he owned. And whilst it's interesting, it's actually something like I would really like to do, but I'm not going to. I'm desperately going to try not to do that. I'm going to try not to do it. Whilst it's interesting, it raises the question of why. Why do you want to own the fewest things? Because for me, it's not about owning the fewest things. I own more things than it would maybe appear that I need to. For example, I own a typewriter. I own an alarm clock. Now, if I was a true minimalist in the sense that it's been popularized as, I would own just my phone because I can use that as an alarm clock and I can use that to write on. But since buying the typewriter, I found that it actually stimulates my creative process. There's something about it that's really relaxing to use. I really enjoy using it. I'm able to concentrate better when I use it. When I write on that, ideas flow in a different way. And so I need it. And then there's the other side of things. I don't sleep very well, and so I need great sleep hygiene. That means getting rid of my phone as far before I want to be asleep as possible. Then I realised if I just got a separate alarm clock, that is all that it's for. So if minimalism is simply paring everything down to the bare minimum, well, I'm not that. I never want to be that. I mean, I kind of want to be that. I want a little bit to try, but I don't want to be that. The other thing that ruins my minimalist status is books. I know I could get a Kindle and I wouldn't have to own all these paper, archaic trinkets, decoration. But I really enjoy books. And the problem is if I have to read on something that's connected to the internet that has choice, that I can go and get a new book if I want to. I find this with Audible. I love Audible, but if I'm on there and I'm listening to something, I think, I'll just browse. And then I find something else. I'm like, I'll just have a quick listen to this. So I stop listening to the other thing. I play a sample of the next book. I've interrupted my reading, sort of ruined my focus. It's like that thing with Netflix. You play Menu Hero because you've got access to everything. You can play Menu Hero, so you do play Menu Hero. By the way, Menu Hero, if you don't know, is the thing where you just spend like 2 hours looking through every film and you're like, oh, that one would be quite good. Let's not watch that now, though. That's Menu Hero. I know that I'll do that. There's no way around that for me. Back in the days of DVDs, I remember a point where I had 4 DVDs. I had Mission Impossible 1 and 2. I had Gone in 60 Seconds. And I had Tomb Raider. That's all the DVDs I had. For like 6 months, I was happy with that. So a physical book can't offer up distractions beyond the next page, beyond just wanting to either continue reading or to stop reading. I also love the fact that you can go and pick one up. You can just pick up a book. You go on holiday. If you've not got your Kindle with you, you've not got your Kindle with you. But you can just go. You can still go and pick up a book from someone's left one. You go and read that. Someone's just finished one. They can go, oh, do you want this book? Can't do that with a Kindle. That's why I love books. They're tokens. They're trading items. They're things that can connect you to another person. It's something you can pass on. It's physical. It's tangible, and it's practical. In a way, I think practical is underrated, where convenient exists. So convenience is the Kindle where you can download anything. Practical is the book that you can do more things, or you can pass the book to someone else. The book is movable. I miss that. My mum reads all her books on a Kindle now, and I used to she'd be like, oh, I finished this one, do you want it? Yeah, love it. So books, I have a stack of them to read. The difference now as a minimalist is that once I've finished them, unless there's a definite chance that I'm going to read them again, or I'm going to get some value out of them in some way, I'll pass them on. Give them to someone that I think will enjoy it, or just send it to a charity shop. I just really don't think that minimalism is getting rid of all things just for the sake of it. It's also not about removing all distractions at whatever the cost. It's about prioritizing what it is that you want from your life and looking at the things in your life that can either facilitate that or hamper that in some way. A good example is if your absolute desire is to be so free that you can just up and leave an apartment, up and leave somewhere and just move out and be gone within an hour, then yeah, owning as few things as physically possible is the best thing for you. That is true minimalism, but it's also not the only kind of true minimalism. Minimalism really helped me and my mental health. The pain and frustration that comes from not being able to find stuff, from losing stuff all the time, it's genuinely a problem with my brain. But if I don't have that many things and they're well organized, things are different. I'm more productive. I'm just able to function in a way that I can't if I've got too much stuff. It also minimizes my choices. There's one lens that I use for this kind of video now. There's one camera that I use for this kind of video now. And there's one microphone that I use for this kind of video now. Removing that choice every time means that I can actually do these things without getting stuck in this loop. This weird, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a waiting mode for the decision to be made. But I'm the one who has to make the decision. And somehow I can't. The thing about decision fatigue is real. Your ability to make decisions diminishes across the day. The more decisions you make, the harder it is to make the next one. As a philosophy, I don't think minimalism is going to go away anytime soon, and that's good. I think that as long as some people who need it use it, that's great. The gamification and the saturation of minimal videos on YouTube, it might seem annoying to some, but it's entertainment. It's something that I genuinely enjoy watching. I think if you like the topic of minimalism, YouTube is the place to get it. It's dropped from the mainstream now. It'll peak above the parapet occasionally. You'll see some references to it in mainstream media, but I think its home now is on YouTube, and it's there now for the people who really need it. The important thing to remember, though, is that it's not a way to live your life. It's a tool to help you be happy, productive, healthy, and to be able to get on with stuff, to leave behind that attachment to things, but not to hate things, to genuinely love things, to love the things that you have in your life. Some of the talk around minimalism is that people are cheap, But on the other hand, a lot of people say it's a thing that rich people do. And I understand where both those arguments come from, because minimalism's about being frugal, not cheap. The difference between cheap and frugal is that cheap doesn't buy, doesn't spend, whereas frugal spends only when they need to. And that's kind of why it seems cheap and why it seems expensive. But it's neither, really. It averages out in the middle somewhere. We're not being cheap by not buying stuff. We're waiting for the perfect thing to come along, and we're not splurging, we're not spending too much money on stuff. We're spending the right amount on the right thing. And yes, you may find yourself buying expensive things, but you will find yourself buying a lot less things. And I think in the end, it works out. And that's my thoughts on minimalism at the start of 2022. Let me know if I'm wrong about anything. Let me know if your opinions differ from mine down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this, you might enjoy my podcast. That's linked below as well. That's Unsustainable Conversations to Keep You Going. That's a daily podcast. I'm doing well. I'm putting it out daily. It's difficult, but I'm enjoying it. Right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.